Welcome to the live stream. I got my buddy Bones McGolf behind me in order to talk a little bit of golf. So we got a new winner on the tour, new winner for this year, some stuff to talk about from some fittings, a new wedge shaft, and whatever questions we come up with. All next on What's in My Drawers Golf Talk. Welcome back to the McGolf Shop. Jim McCleary here, and What's in My Drawers Golf Talk, because what's in my drawers is what was talking about in the shop, because old club makers, club fitters are tremendous pack rats. And that's how it started. And now it's turned into an international conversation about golf equipment, golf fittings, golf repairs, and a few other topics as well. So hopefully we can get along with this one, and we'll get right to it with the amount last minute stuff here. We'll see. So let's start backwards. Did a little barbecuing. There we go. Those are what we call country or western style ribs. Western style ribs. I've always called them country western style. Both kinds of ribs, and we've done some of that. Work in the shop. We did a set of redid a set of Titleist. They were a little bit goofy, but we got them smoothed out, and we got the LA golf shafts in them. Again, this was another strong swinger. And if you notice, lefties, right? Lefties. Very well done. And then after had the fitting with the two folks from Indiana or Louisville area, and they both came away with, there was one. Those are the new hot metal or JPX 923 hot metal pros with a high fly. And the high fly is the 4 hybrid, and it has the same shaft as the irons. We'll talk some about that. And the other one are some JPX 923 hot metal high launches, which all of a sudden have become a thing. I'm hearing a lot about that. So this might be the new surprise ticket for a lot of golfers. So in the first set, we put in the Nippon Neo 950 Neo or Neo 950 GH, and boy oh boy, did this thing work really, really well after some testing with the same head, of course, that the other 90-gram shafts. This thing was a performer, definitely recommendable. And the other one was an Acra 50, the Acra Series 50. The Acra shaft is a staple here at McGolf, and it's been working well. The 50-gram shaft it was in the weight category. The weight category has been something else. So every time we gave him a 50-gram shaft, he would hit better with it. And I got 60, go 40, go up, go down. And every time 50 was the weight. So there is something to be said about having the right weight of golf shaft in your club. And that can impact swing weight, to be sure, which again, I'm all about the total weight, not necessarily the swing weight. Although swing weight has its place, it's just not the cure-all end-all. All right, on the first one, we have the Win dry tack, the red and black. He's a Indiana coloring it up. Those turned out real nice and tacky. And in the other one, we used the Win dry tack LTs. It was actually a pretty good thing. They did very, very well. I got to say they hit him pretty good. And just before walking in here, I just exchanged shafts on his driver to a one of these right about here, a VRTX that gets you up in the air. And with his driver. So yeah, it turned out to be a pretty good setup for him, and we got him set up with putter. Well, we didn't get the putter in on that, was a different fitting. We got with a little bit of a guess on the driver, and hopefully they like these, and then we'll see them for some other stuff later on. Let's see, 2 other things. Number 1 is what we're going to see. Oh, while we're here, like and subscribe, hit the bell, hit that subscribe button down there at the bottom, all that stuff, so we can get the word out about this channel. I'd really like to see this live stream get a little bit bigger, along with the views on the other one. And to talk about that, number one, what'd you guys think of the Pinehurst video? That was my first time playing around with a green screen. Now I know what it's all about. Now I know how to do it a little bit better. So we might see some more of that. I don't think I'm going to go too crazy with it, but it was something else. It's kind of cool to see how that kind of stuff works. The second one is that the video coming up will be about this guy, that thing. All right, that is the BGT. So all you guys have been asking me about the BGT putter shaft. I actually got the BGT Z and E wedge shaft, and we'll see how that works. Now I know how the things go together. It's kind of interesting stuff, and that will be the video coming up. It seems that later in the week is going to be better, so we're not going to do it Tuesdays. We will do it later in the week, say on a Thursday, Friday time frame, and we'll put that out. And last but not least is Erin. I told you she was on the middle of the 18th fairway. Well, she's in the doorway of the clubhouse now. And we're just making her comfy and spoiling the hell out of her until we figure out it's time. But she's been a good dog. All righty. So we got through that one. Oh, last bit. The Butterfield Bermuda Championship. Seamus Powers, man from Ireland. I didn't get to see any of the golf, but I did get to hear him talk about it. And him and there was another one from the Asian Rim area that they were all used to playing into the wind. And I guess the weather turned kind of nasty as far as wind blowing kind of stuff. And these guys ended up doing very, very well. And it played to their strength. So, when you're comfortable in that kind of stuff, you really, really do well. I will say an honorable mention to Aaron Baddeley. We haven't heard that name in a long, long time. If he would have done something other than just going even, he probably would have had a shot at it. But the rest of the guys that were in here, you don't hear a whole lot from. But congratulations to them. And the guy that made it to the big was A. Nunez. Unfortunately, shot a +6 at the end of finish at a +2. All right, so we got all that. So kind of a topic, all right, a topic of what we like to talk about here, and I try to relate them to fitting purposes. And I see I was out on the forums and somebody asked about length. Now we've talked about length at length, and it's amazing the differences of opinions that are out there. And do you get a club and do you look to swing, just change your swing to marry up to the club, which we all know that should not happen? Or if you have what does length do if you have the wrong length? What does it do to you as the golfer or to the swing? And that spurred on a bunch of fitting responses. Now, the real answer to the question is if you have a club that is too long, particularly for, let's say, your height, your arm length, the way that you stand, all those different things, your swing plane is going to have to get flat. And if you're not used to being flat, it's going to feel awful. And then once you get to being flat, swinging normal is going to feel awful. But when you swing flat, and that was in the day, coming in from the outside, swinging flat in order to hit the draw. And the idea of doing that, the physics of it was if you wanted to hit a draw, you could do it like that. Of course, there's many other ways to hit a draw, but that was the prevalent concept at the time. And because it was longer and you're swinging flatter, the clubs had to be flatter. And that's what perpetuated if you're a better golfer, you need flatter clubs. Well, there you go, right? And that was because most of these golfers back in the day were handed golf clubs and go, here you go. Here's the club, make them work. And they had the athletic gift and figured out how to do that. And they figured, if I'm from the inside, it can be a little longer, it can be a lot flatter, and I can hit that draw. Well, and the con to all that is if you don't turn it over, if you don't make that swing, you hit this tremendous block. Okay, so being inside out is not necessarily a bad thing, but being deep inside out is horrible. Just like being deep over the top and around is just as bad. Which, if you think about it, when you hit a fade or you hit a slice, everybody just cringes. They go, "Oh!" But when you do the exact same thing on a draw, or you hit the pull and it goes the same way to the right, everybody goes, "Oh, that's not so bad." It's just as bad. Unfortunately, around here, the golf courses, and I don't know about your areas, but in a lot of cases, you see dogleg lefts or sweeping curves to the left, so that when you hit those shots that are pulled or or hooked or whatever you might call it, that you end up in a fairly decent shape. And so I'm kind of guessing that's probably where that would come from. Okay. Again, happy Halloween. I guess I should have got that out first. Happy Halloween for those of you in, well, okay, two things, two questions. Let's get the conversation going. Number one, and I'm stealing it from a radio program. Scariest moment on the golf course. All right, scariest moment on the golf course. Let's share some campfire stories. Yeah, okay. And then and we'll see. And whether or not, are you guys, we're at the end of October, beginning of November now, and I'm looking at 70-degree weather. It's massively overcast. We're going to pay for this. We're going to get snow. And so are you guys packed up and getting ready for the winter, or what are you guys doing? Let me know. All right. So we got through all those. All right, let's go answer some questions. Boom, ba-doom, 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 ba-doom. Here we go, Charles. We say you beat our man this time around. I can only imagine with kids that he's out trick or treating or he's doing some sort of celebratory thing. So, hey, good for him. And oh, by the way, Glenn Levitt 12, the last one from when I went down to Florida in, was it the beginning of January? So let's go this one. I got one more bottle left from that run. So that was pretty good mark. All righty. There we go. There's Mr. Pat. What do you say, sir? Willard, how are you? Happy Halloween as well. There's Kent. I haven't seen you in a while. Good deal. How are you? I'm home. We don't get trick-or-treaters here. I'd shoot the little kids. Well, that we were just talking about that. The in where we live on, it's a very country-like road, and there's only 3 homes. There's 4 now, and there's no kids. So nobody's coming up here to score a 2 or 3 snack bars or whatever in order to drive all the way out where we're at. So we haven't given out candy in Lord knows how long. But what I normally do is take a bag to work and we put it in a big old bowl. And as people go by, they might grab something out of it, and there's trick or treat. However, on the opposite end of that, a person I work with loves this holiday. And on the average, this person sees somewhere around 1,200 to 1,400 trick-or-treaters in a night. Like, good golly, they go through a whole barrel full of this candy and stuff. So it just goes to show you, it's everywhere. Jack King, what do you say, sir? If the shaft is the transmission on the driver, can you upgrade the head using your existing shaft? Absolutely. Yes, you can. Now, that's a good topic, Jack. Let's talk about that. All right. Typically, when you find a shaft that's married up to a good head, for let's just say, and it could be anything. It could be a driver, it could be a wedge, it could be an iron, and you have this just magic combination that you just enjoy. And as long as the parameters of the, you like that? The parameters of the head are very similar, then yes, you should get a similar reaction with an updated head. Now, if you say that, let's say you put something away and you wanted, you have the shaft that you absolutely love, and it's in a blade. We're just going to go to the extreme so I can get my point across. And you have it in a blade, and all of a sudden you want to put it into a very forgiving, other end of the scale, high offset, wide sole, longer bladed club. it's going to act different. All right, it's going to act different because, and now just little bits and pieces. It's not going to be like oh, it's crud, but it's not going to be exactly the same. It's going to be a little different. And that's because center of gravities, weights, all these different things come into play on how that shaft's going to react. Even the offset on it, because it moves the how this thing's going to play. Now, if you're in a driver, the movement, uh, the head doesn't change that radically unless you have the sliding weights or the ones that move this way or this way or this way. And even in that case, unless you're moving the weight radically, I wouldn't expect it to change very much. So, to make the long story short, the answer is yes. You go ahead and switch out the head. In fact, that's exactly what I just did when I was telling you about it. The guys that we fit from Indiana really liked the head. Had a golf club that he just absolutely hit very well, but the shaft broke and couldn't find one. Didn't know he could replace it, so we've replaced it with a very similar shaft, and that's what we're doing. So, case in point, yes. All righty. There's Charles talking to Kent. Well done, sir. Hello, golf people. I saw you did some pretty good golfing here as of late as well. Good job for you. All right. We're talking with Robin. There we go. Willard's going to be getting a knee revision on his right knee replacement. Oh, joy. Uh-oh. Hopefully they click it in a little bit better for you or whatever. Hopefully that works out. I hate to hear some of that stuff. First day's been awake and not actually working well a while, Charles. Well, good for you, sir. They were not. We actually used the Soul Brothers barbecue sauce. I was gonna, but I had an open bottle of the Bubba Ray's, and Bubba Ray's is pretty good too. The original, man, good stuff. And Robin normally doesn't like a lot of barbecue sauce on it, but she liked that one, so we'll call that a win. Okay, here, my dog Rex, 86 in South Florida, 62 in Detroit. That's it, and it's 70 here in the middle, so not too bad. I don't see it staying there for very long like that, at least up in this neck of the woods. Down there, maybe so, maybe it will. All right, Pat's got one. Fitting question. You've ever had a player say they could feel or don't feel the weight of the shaft in a particular place along with along the shaft? One. I have had one. Uh, as a whole, what I used to describe it was, we talk about swing weight, and on the average, most people can't sense a change of about 3 swing weight points, which in some cases is 6 grams, some cases it might be 12 grams, and or in the middle of the shaft it can be even more. But they just can't sense it, particularly if you just give them one, let them go hit it, and you give them another one, let them go hit it. But if you had them side by side, maybe the numbers would go up if you had them side by side. But one on each other, it's a very high number. It's in the 80, 90 percentile range of people that even the professionals can't. Now, as the professionals get more sensitive to the club, they get down into about 2. And then you get I would call this super sensitive types, and they can feel a 1 swing weight change. And it's just, they're super sensitive. And it's just like Davis Love could sense a change in flex of something less than a quarter of a flex. The dude was just sensitive to the way that the club released. But these people that sense the weight, I call it like the Edgar Allan Poe kind of sensitivity. I've ran into one, maybe 2 that could sense those. Yeah, it's hard to believe when you don't do it yourself, but they do exist, and they're in a very small percentile, but they do exist. Mr. Jerry, how'd that club turn out? Beautiful weather in Texas. Thanks for the swing weight issues. I was having my 6 iron Oh yeah, lightweight grip caused the issue. Oh, okay, good for you. Yeah, when you told me, so Jerry asked me, he said by calculation wise, his club was going to be wigged out and very heavy, and it felt so. And he says, "Well, what do you think?" And I he told me this club was like 2 inches over standard. And I said, "Well, it doesn't matter what you do; it's going to be heavy. There's no way of lightening it up other than adding more weight to the butt, which if it felt heavy would be counterproductive." Well, then he realized that he'd made a length measuring mistake, and it was smaller. And now we're seeing that he had a lightweight grip on it, and then lightweight grip can make that kind of a change, right? That's the whole. If you're trying to swing weight a club, and it's all about teeter totters, right? And how much weight do you put here? How much weight do you put here? And how much weight is going on in here? And it's just this balancing act. Now, you can swing weight a telephone pole and you can swing weight a stick off of a tree. However, total weight comes into play, and then that's where the real determinations are made. All right. 2X, here we go. Any guidelines for counterbalancing drivers of fairway woods? How much weight on the grip end to make a difference? Okay. Well, when you're talking about drivers, and we used to do this a lot, for drivers for guys that were aggressive because they would lose the club on their way back, right? They go back here. So you would see this, and they would be here, and this, and we would wait here because this is what they were feeling, not that. Okay. And it was right here. And we would put weight in the bottom. And it's amazing how the littlest bit of weight can make that change. Now, I've taken the experience from balance certified weights that we use, and you can go as low as 10 grams in the butt, in the butt section. And then they went in 20, 30, 40 increments. And I rarely went above 40. 10 was the minimum that we used in order for it to automatically feel it. And I'll tell you what, it smoothed a lot of people out to the point, Jack Nicklaus, long drive guys, all back weighted their clubs, right? They all back weighted their clubs. And in the day, they would put a wooden dowel in here, glue it in here, and drill it out, and then pour molten lead in it to the way they like the feel of it. Okay. Now it's a little less primitive and a lot less hazardous, and it's just a weight that goes into the back, and it friction fits its way into it. But 10 grand, yes, I believe in it. Yes, you can do it. Yes, it's normally for folks that are aggressive, but that's not to say it won't work for other folks. It's just been my experience that smoother swing folks don't like it there. But the guys that are a little quick on the back, a little quick on the down, that kind of thing, they would like it. And I would start with a 10 and then work your way down. And to figure it out, you can take just real quick, and again, primitive, take some lead tape at 10 and just wrap it around the grip and let them grip onto it and let them see if they make a swing. And if they notice it, then you're good to go. All right. Watching in New Jersey, Travis, looking to see the new Ping lineup. Any thoughts? Well, I'm seeing a lot of excitement about it, but that's the real plus. If you look at if you look at the way these clubs are being released, you notice how none of them are being released on the same week as the next, right? So Titleist, they got First Blood first, right? And then you saw Mizuno threw theirs out second, and now you're seeing Ping out there third. So now the only ones that we really have left to look at is Srixon and Callaway, and Callaway kind of threw their hat in the ring with the new Big Berthas. That's something to talk about. And Wilson I've seen the new Wilson lineup. I think it's going to be very nice, but we probably won't see a release until after the beginning of the year in order for all these things to be staggered out. And it's all their business model and the way they like it. However, Ping here in the last many years that the 4 whatever number in the LST has been a real world beater. It's been a lot of people very, very much like that one. And then if they're not liking that one, then their draw bias model has just been they've been loving them. Now, what you're seeing on a lot of the YouTube channels is we have to keep in mind that a lot of these guys are pretty good golfers, or they're not pro level golfers, but they're really good golfers. And so they're going to, you see them hitting these bladed looking clubs and they hit them really well. So, yeah, it's because they got game. So we have to be very, very careful about that. And some of those guys can describe it very well, and some of them not so much. So we got to you just be careful. But again, when we're talking about ping, they don't make junk. The iron line is normally very strong. The driver line is normally very strong, which is kind of unfortunate. Not unfortunate. It's kind of weird how ping got started as a putter, and you don't hear too much noise from them in that arena. I'd really like to see them jump up and be a player again in that. Love the Pinehurst. Very informative. Well, I'm glad. It was funny. We were down there, and we ran into 2 sets of folks that were Ohio Staters. And it just turns out, as I was flying my drone for number 18 at the Talamore, I hear this guy, "Hey, Jim, what are you doing here?" I'm like, "Well, give me a break." It turned out it was Mark, and he's the young man that just can hit the ball just crazy far. And sure enough, he did. He hit it. They were playing off the white tees, which should have been redonkulous for them. And kind of give you an idea, I hit one, and anyway, you got to cross a pond, sand trap, about 40, 50 yards green. And I cleared the first sand trap, got in the middle of the green. So I had about I don't know, 100-yard shot in. Mark goes and he absolutely mashes one, and I believe he was wedging it up onto the green as a chip shot. So he just absolutely smoked it. Well, a little bit later, another group of the 12 come up here, and he says, "You guys know Mark?" He says, "Oh, yeah, we've had some epic battles," and he commences to hitting one, and I think he even would have hit it inside of him right there, just absolutely blasting it. But a good group of guys, which that's pretty neat, right out of Columbus. All right. Well put together. Well, thank you. The other part is that I had no idea about the llamas until we walked into the Talamore clubhouse, and that's how they start out. They got some articles, and uh, their logo is the outline of a llama, much like the U.S. with a flag going on it. It has a pretty decent similarity to like a Masters logo. And the Masters folks have been on them about cease and desist, and they're like, "Ha ha ha! What are you going to do?" And but it's pretty funny. So they have a very lighthearted uh, take on it, and they really press into the llama thing. It's pretty cool. That was my first trip out there, and I have to say that those courses, as far as condition wise in this particular time frame, has been some of the nicest ones I've been to without being on Pinehurst proper. And so these places were just incredible. And even the ones that I didn't do well with, you can't ignore how nice they were. And there's pine trees and everything. And you go, wow, look at they're lined with all these pine trees. I'll never make it. There's plenty of room, plenty of room. And all of a sudden you gain confidence. But I guarantee you, I learned a little sand trap action when I was there in that last golf course. It was bad. All right. BZ, thank you. Thankfully into the season, but not play for a while. Trailing knee, ouch, swollen. Oh, gee, many Christmas. Supposed to sound like a when you bend it. No, no, it's not. Get that thing taken care of, dude. I did the meniscus thing and the ACL. Yeah, because the MCL, ACL. And I was really, really close, and they went in and fixed the meniscus tear and cleaned it up. And I mean, I went out walking on it, but it was swollen pretty good for a couple of weeks, and then walking without having to go, when you walk on it, that was a couple more weeks. And then I finally took me about a month or two just to trust it. And finally, one day I just went out and hit about 100 balls with the idea I was going to turn. Finally got it back and it was good to go. But get it done. Get it done. Peter, hello. How are you, sir? Again, thank you for last week on the super chat. I appreciate it. It woke me up to something I didn't even know was there. So, again, thank you very much. Willard always wanted to play there, maybe not number 2. It is very expensive, but yeah, it is. It's hard on us. She's 14, and she's had a pretty good life with us. She's been here since she was about 3, and yeah, she will certainly be missed, to be sure. But we know it's the right thing to do, but it's never easy to let them go. Back to number 2. Yeah, that was the reason why we went to the other ones. And because of price. However, I'm glad I did, because the experience out there, particularly in those vistas, the Tullamore Vistas, that place was super nice. Beats a hotel room by leaps and bounds. Your own kitchen, your own refrigerator, washer, dryer, the whole 9 yards. It was a place you could live year round if you really had to. And it was just really nice. And the community area was super nice as well. But we certainly will play number 2. The guys that have played it that we golfed with really thought you really got to go see it, because what it is, apparently number 18, when you come up 18, and number 18 is very crowned, very dome shaped, and I guess that when it happens is that the people will get their drinks or their food or something, and they will sit there and they'll either cheer or boo or whatever. It's really kind of fun when you see that kind of stuff. What happens when they do that? So yeah, he liked it. And Bone said, "Yeah, you left me here and you didn't take me with you." So he's still mad at me for that. All righty. Whoop, 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 whoop. Here we go. I got to go find it again. Oh, here's Robin talking to everybody. There's Kent. Hey, Robin, hope you guys are well enjoying Halloween. Yep. We're here dealing with it. It's actually quite nice outside, to be honest. I'll keep playing as long as the course is open. Charles, you are the man. I don't know if I could do that or not, but you are the man. Because around here, well, I guess you get snow, so that's no duh. I'll just give myself a duh on that one. All right, scary golf course story. I love dogs, but walking alone on a hole and a pack of dogs started following me. Yahoo! Yeah, that's not very good. Mine is, and Bob thinks it's funnier than all get out. We're driving. We're in. Where were we? I believe we were either in Florida or South Carolina. We were one of the two, and we're driving down a a golf cart path, and we're driving around this golf cart path, and he says, "Did you see that?" And I caught it out of the corner of my eye, and it was a snake, and it was a snake about yay big around, and they're all anacondas and they all want to eat me, but this thing was a pretty good size one. He says, "Let's stop and let's go back and get a picture of it." What? And I just no, we are not. And he thinks that's just as funny as all get out. All right. Willard had one. Saw a tree almost fall on my buddy as we were walking by it. We had that. We were playing at a local course and we were driving around, and all of a sudden there's this commotion, and there was a tree over landing across the fairway of a par 3, and everybody had to kind of walk around it, and we had to not play that hole, so to speak. And Hawks. There's Danny. What do you say, sir? Still playing here in Northeast Missouri. We play till the snow falls or the temperature goes below 35. You guys are tough individuals. I'll have to say that. I can dip down into the 40s, but that's about as good as it gets for me. Bill Nauman, that course in Bermuda was beautiful, a little windy. Well, that when you're in the Bermudas, you got to expect that. I mean, if you're on an island, if you don't think you're not going to get any wind, you're silly. But yeah, all those places they're going to play are pretty nice. Now I'd like to see what they're going to do on the next course. Don't think that's not crossed my mind. Uh, that was always one that we wanted to do on our parents at Easter. When the Easter bunny would come, we would throw down raisins and some other things that look like bowel movements, and we would get out there and they come and we'd go, oh, the Easter bunny came, and they'd think that we were looking for eggs, and there'd be all these little raisins all over the place, and we'd be throwing them in our mouth, and they're like, oh, get out of here. And they didn't think that was too funny. I think I've brought 7 kilograms of honeycomb crunch home from work. I can get that one. Yep. There you go. Well, not too bad. At least you have something in honeycombs. That's not too bad. Peter, seeing a guy get hit by lightning and seeing his socks and shoes blown off right off his feet. Really? Now, not to be very punny, that was shocking, I'm sure, but good night. On a golf course, having a clap of thunder quickly followed by lightning bolt straight next to us. Yahoo, dude. Man, I bet was his hair still on straight like you see when you see those things, his hair sticking out like that? That is a story. I wouldn't want to be that guy. But then again, he's been struck by lightning at least once. Shouldn't have to worry about it too many more times. Jonathan Weaver, how you doing, buddy? I'm lucky that I have pretty generous access to a TrackMan, have a great drills routine practice ideas other than smashing balls on the range so that I can come out next spring better. Okay. All righty. Well, let us know when you're ready. There you go. Same here, Danny. I'll even play in the snow. You guys are tough. I will give you that. You're tough individuals. Charles has got one lightning moving in as we are playing right over our heads, and I could not get the guys to stop playing. Oh, you got the old Lee Trevino. Only God can hit a 2-iron, so you just stick that up in the air and use that as your protection. Bill's got a lefty head coming his way. We're still waiting on for sure. Thanks, Jim. Plan going to TaylorMade M4 to a stealth. Yeah. Oh no, you'd be fine with that one. There's not a lot of the weight's going to be the same. Their shapes are very similar. I don't see you stressing over that one too bad. Duke, thoughts on Callaway 400 per stick? Yeah, 449 per stick in irons. And I questioned that one. I really, really did. And they said the highest, most technologically advanced club. Now, keep in mind, those clubs are aimed at a very, very, very small segment. All right. Obviously, at 449 a stick, you're looking at somebody who does not have cash flow problems. We'll put it that way. And if you read into the details of the club, they're not really for somebody who can throw a 7-iron out to 170 or 180 or anything like that. This is a golfer that's looking for some distance, and because their swing speed has gotten lower or something along that can. So we're talking about, uh, and if it's in your bank account, fine. But basically, it's lighter shafts, more flexible shafts, and getting all this stuff out there. And it specifically says in there for guys with slightly slower swing speeds. So just kind of keep that in mind. I'm kind of hoping that something they come out with something other than that later on into the year in order to get their, because they have to have something to rotate out. Right now, it's rogues and apexes, and the rogues just came out this year, so I'm kind of hoping we're going to see something with the apex. Although I don't think I'm going to get my wish, and so I'm not got to see what's going on with that. Well, I won the season-long matchup play cup at my club. Nice, well done, Wade. Good job. This last weekend, the new clubs you made are great. Well, I'm glad to see that we could help you out, and thanks. That's a There you go. That's a testament. We'll just chalk it up to one club champion, two club champion. I've got a mid amateur that we helped out, and he won, so that wasn't too bad. So I'm glad to hear it. Well done. That's pretty cool. Jonathan Weaver, 58-year-old, 14 handicap. I'm lucky that I have generous access to that. Yep. Do you have any ideas for drills and practices, exercises to do more than smashing balls? Well, a couple of them, Jonathan, at 58. In reality, I would, flexibility. I can't stress that one enough. Strength, flexibility, a little bit of strength, nothing like going to the gym, none of that kind of stuff. But getting so that you can get turns and stuff like that, building up your strength so you can hit balls, and then practicing for not necessarily where the ball is going, but good contact. Right, your drills for good contact, and like you said, not smashing balls, but finding the middle of the club and then building up your speed from there. Do half shots, quarter shots, full shots on the clubs that you need to do those on. And when you go to practice and hit balls, make it so that there's a consequence involved. Like, for instance, if you take your significant other out there with you, i.e., your wife, and you take them out there and say, okay, if I don't get uh, 5 golf balls out of 7 or 8 into this area that TrackMan has established, I got to take you out to dinner, something like that. Or I got to give you some money for uh, whatever it is you guys are looking at to buy that you're saving up for, something along that lines, so that there's a consequence to it in order to put a little pressure on you so that you can execute. And that's what I think that helps quite a bit. Put a little pressure on yourself of what you're trying to accomplish. There's JT. What do you say, buddy? 70 down there in Louisiana? Come on, man. That seems kind of cold for you guys. Actually, it probably seems very, very nice. All righty. Does it 49 come with an upgraded shaft? Well, at 449, I would hope that it's the most upgradable shaft that there truly is, Charles. If you look at it, I didn't get to see the whole entire thing, but if you look at the way the construction is, and they put a truckload of tungsten behind the sole area. And the most I've ever heard of anybody doing from a Callaway point of view has been around 70, between 70 and 90. And they're talking like 120, 140. I don't understand that. Well, I guess I do understand it. But so the whole idea is to have the length or the loft strong, but you put all that weight below it and it still kicks it up high. So it's the best of both worlds. Uh, my representative is actually in California right now, and they're being talked to about it. So I don't understand. So that was it. All right. We're down here to the bottom. We're going to be early. I understand this is the last year the PGA will have any fall events. I think that's a big mistake. You are taking away an opportunity for guys to try and make it, or trying to make in the guys on the tour. Oh, I understand that this is last year the PGA will have any fall events. I think that's a big mistake. You're taking away an opportunity for guys to make it on the tour. Yeah, I heard some rumblings about that, and it had to go along with the idea that they were going to that they're elevating a couple more events, and I'm not sure what the whole idea in elevating means, but the gist of it is that they're getting more attention, more points or stuff like that, but you also have to go play them. So with all this extra money that all of a sudden is starting to show up, that's good, but you got to play. So instead of being the what was it, 12 or 15 events that you had to play, the number of events went up. And that's in order to obtain these numbers and in order to have a the kind of season that they want to go to. Now, keep in mind, this is also after these guys have been, because there's a players committee, and I'm sure that the LIV has had some impact on their decision making for sure. But when they elevate these things, that's what you get. Now, I'm those kinds of decisions have waveforms, and even on the PGA Tour, that means that the Corn Ferry Tour is going to have some changes as well. So I'm just waiting to see when it all pans out. What is it going to be like? That's going to be interesting. Okay, look at that. We got down to the bottom. Peter was the last one. Good enough. 15 minutes early. Well, I don't really necessarily think that's a bad thing on Halloween, trick or treating, and all over the folks going. Oh, we got one here. Let me put this in here. Tom B. There's one. Hello there, Tom. I want to make sure I didn't miss anybody. Nope. All right. And Peter agrees. Yeah, I think that's what's going to happen. You can go up, but you got to spread out as well in order for that to happen. And you never know, the numbers might move around to allow more people in or more opportunities outside of the tour to get in. And because that's what they're trying to do with all what I would call the junior tours, the Latino League and the Japanese League or the Asian League, that kind of stuff. Those tours, and giving them opportunities to come play over here. So there we go. Uh-oh, we got another one. Phil K got in late. Hey, no problem, buddy. We're just getting ready to the conversation has come to a stall, or we got a lot of folks trick-or-treating out there, I'm going to say. So last one of that. I got to go check on that driver that I just put together. Again, if you would, like, subscribe, and that way more of these videos get where they're at and the channel gets exposed a little bit more, which is what we're looking for. And so we can also have this discussion more and more and more. Also, if you would, watch for me at the end of the week. We're going to talk about this shaft. We're going to talk about that shaft and how it performed, and we'll have that out, and we will go from there. Oh, look at here. Oh, here you go. Paul, trick-or-treaters are not liking me. He's giving out teas. Oh, jeez, Paul. Oh, that's pretty good, buddy. That is pretty good indeed. So anyway, I'm glad to see you there, Paul. I've seen. Oh, for you, I've seen the replacement to the Wilson D9 is going to be called the Dynapower, and it looks to be very, very cool. So it might be something you might be interested a little later down the road. It won't be available till after the new year, so maybe, just maybe, right? Okay. So again, guys, thank you for watching. Like and subscribe. Watch for the video later on in the week. It'll be talking about the wedge shaft and how it performed. And again, spread the word. Let us know what's going on. And as usual, get down here. Let's see your scores. Go low.